After marrying Abbie and John David Duggar postponed their honeymoon, the genuine cause of the delay has now made a comeback on the internet. Be sure to stay for the full scoop. On November 3, 2018, John David and Abbie were married. Grace Annette is the couple's daughter. In January, she became 2 years old. Fans don't get to see much of John David and Abbie's lives because they aren't very active on social media. However, every once in a while, they will share news about their cute kid and themselves. Their admirers are now reliving the happy couple's wedding and honeymoon. The Duggars' delay in taking their honeymoon is puzzling. A clip from an old episode of Counting On has made its way back online, and it shows John David Duggar's early days as a husband. On Reddit, a Reddit member captured John David's views by reposting a few screenshots with closed captioning. He discussed his honeymoon and Abbie's decision to postpone it in the show. On a lengthy international journey, they made the decision that they would rather not sit. He explained that this was due to the fact that newlyweds do not enjoy spending 24 hours confined on an aircraft. Instead of taking a smaller honeymoon, we decided to wait. Some Duggar trolls have commented on the Reddit article, pointing out how clear it is that John David and Abbie were only excited to get sexual. The Duggars don't start living and sleeping together until they're married. They also usually don't kiss each other before they tie the knot. If that's the case, it seems like John David and Abbie were impatient. If their international travel had taken 24 hours, it would have put a damper on their other plans. But the choice that John David Duggar and Abbie made is one that many can identify to. I believe that makes sense. Someone writes, "Taking my honeymoon so soon was a mistake. While in Hawaii, I hardly stepped out of the resort. It was completely unnecessary." The Duggar family has captivated viewers all over the globe for many years thanks to their popular reality TV show, 19 Kids and Counting. Lots of people have been keeping tabs on the big, close-knit family, especially the kids. Every aspect of the Duggar family's lives, from their strict childhood to their public nuptials, captivates the public's attention. After their quick relationship and marriage, John David Duggar and Abbie Grace Burnett have been the center of attention among the Duggar children. A lot of people were curious about one aspect of the wedding, the postponement of the honeymoon. Even though many fans were excited for the pair to start a new life together, it seems strange that the couple who were the subject of much speculation by fans and the media would postpone going on their honeymoon, a common practice for newlyweds. The delay in John David and Abbie's honeymoon, what was the true cause behind it? The reasoning behind this choice reveals a great deal about the couple's principles, objectives, and even their personal views. And the answer is more nuanced and complicated than fans might anticipate. Their relationship. A brief overview. Take a look at John David and Abbie's relationship before we get into the reasons behind the delayed honeymoon. The Counting On offshoot of 19 Kids and Counting chronicle their romance, engagement, and wedding in great detail. One of the more reticent members of the Duggar family has always been John David Duggar, the second oldest son. John David's approach was different from that of his siblings, who often engaged in lengthy public courtships. Abbie, a nurse who comes from a different Christian household, and his relationship with her was less public. The lovers went public with their romance in 2018, and their engagement announcement came soon after. Their 2019 November wedding was full of the traditional traditions that have been synonymous with the Duggar family. The viewers were captivated by the unusually brief courtship between John, David, and Abbie, especially considering the standards set by the Duggars. Their seemingly divergent views on marriage, particularly with regard to the date of the honeymoon, were the main points of interest for spectators. The time-honored Duggar method of marriage. Considering the Duggar family's overall perspective on relationships and marriage can help shed light on the reason for John David and Abbie's decision to postpone their honeymoon. The Duggar family has a history of adhering to very orthodox Christian principles in their marriages. The emphasis is on courtship rather than dating, and there's no physical intercourse between partners before marriage to ensure a pure foundation for partnerships. It is also common practice for Duggar families for couples to tie the knot at a young age, usually not long after becoming engaged. In addition to uniting two individuals in holy matrimony, marriage symbolizes a couple's vows to God and their family. The wedding day is filled with excitement for the Duggar children, since for many of them, it marks the start of a lifetime journey. Fans of the Duggar family were hoping that after John David and Abbie's wedding, the newlyweds would immediately go on a honeymoon. However, their actions were empty. Lots of people were surprised that they decided to put off their honeymoon. The true cause of the postponement. John David and Abbie's choice to postpone their honeymoon was probably influenced by a number of factors. The most likely explanations will be examined now. 1. Farm boundaries. John David's duties on the family farm were a major factor in postponing their honeymoon. For as long as anyone can remember, John David has been an integral part of the family farm. He and his father, Jim Bob Duggar, are two of the eldest Duggar children, and he has stepped up to the plate to help run the farm. The newlyweds probably decided to postpone their honeymoon in large part because of this duty. Farming isn't easy, and you have to pay close attention to different parts of the land at different times of the year. The pair probably decided to put off their honeymoon until everything was settled down at home. Considering how involved John David is in the day-to-day business, given the Duggars' emphasis on family and community, this may have held particular significance for them. John David stayed close to home in the early days of his marriage because he might have felt guilty about taking time away from the farm and ignoring his chores. The second point. Community and family. The Duggar family is famously tight-knit, and they cherish family and community very highly. Actually, a lot of Duggars have said that helping other people and serving those in need is their life's work, whether it's through charity work or just being supportive of one another. Perhaps this is the thinking behind John David and Abbie's choice to postpone their honeymoon. It is possible that John David and Abbie wished to devote some time to their families, participate in family events, and get active in their community following their wedding. So they stayed home for a while. Because of their strong cultural emphasis on duty, the Duggars may have felt obligated to prioritize their family bonds before prioritizing self-care. 3. Holding their Christian faith and morals in high regard. John David and Abbie's devotion to their Christian religion and their desire to maintain the Duggar family's purity standards may have contributed to the postponement of their honeymoon. Everyone knows that the Duggars are very traditional in their approach to marriage preparation, which includes abstaining from sexual intercourse in the days leading up to the big day. The newlyweds may have decided to postpone their honeymoon in order to uphold their principles of selflessness, purity, and patience. They may have had higher intentions for their honeymoon than a simple getaway. A number of Duggar couples view their honeymoons as opportunities for spiritual renewal and marital bonding. John, David, and Abbie may have gotten more done on their marriage and spiritual journeys if they had postponed their romantic retreat. Perhaps they wished to begin their married life deliberately, laying the groundwork for a solid future together before taking advantage of their honeymoon. 4th, when they will tie the knot. Their wedding scheduled date might have also been a factor in the postponement. Given their domestic commitments and the time of year, John David and Abbie's November 2019 wedding perhaps wasn't the best time to take a trip. The Duggars reside in Arkansas, so they may have opted to wait for better travel conditions and more predictable weather in the winter months before setting out. Plus, they could have required some time to get used to their new house and married life as newlyweds before going on a long vacation. Even couples who aren't part of the Duggar family often opt to relax and adjust to their new home before taking a honeymoon. In sum, honoring God, family, and obligation, delaying their honeymoon probably wasn't about just one thing for John, David, and Abbie. It was about a lot of things that reflect their goals and values as a marriage. Their desire to respect their Christian beliefs and the traditions passed down through the Duggar family, as well as their dedication to family, community, faith, and hard work, were probably major factors in the decision. The decision to postpone their honeymoon wasn't an indication of John David and Abbie's disinterest or lack of enthusiasm for one another. Rather, it was a deliberate attempt to balance their respective priorities. It's a choice that reflects the Duggar family's overall philosophy: prioritize others, stay devoted, and work hard. Fans were taken aback by the delay, but the couple's commitment to their family and faith is evident in their decision.